So this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a very good episode. It was entitled The Patriot, and that's mainly because it focused on Jeffrey Mace. But a lot happened in this episode, and there's a lot of cool plot developments and character developments. And this episode was one of the continues the trend of season 4 having consistently good episodes. So basically, what happens in this episode is it starts off Mace is giving a speech, basically saying that um, Daisy was undercover, and she had been working with S.H.I.E.L.D. the whole entire time and trying to get the public to trust her again, and everything was going well. But then the sniper tries to kill Mace with a Judas bullet, and it was very cool because it had that Luke Cage tie-in that you might have not got if you haven't watched Luke Cage yet. But he tries to kill Mace with the Judas bullet. But of course, Mace throws it in the air, or actually, I believe Daisy shoots in the air with her abilities, and it blows up. The crowd goes crazy, and Daisy's able to track down this ex-Hydra agent. So she takes him back to the base, and Mace, Mack, and Coulson all get into a Quinjet and are flying to a disclosed location. That's part of their, how do you say, their strategy if Mace is ever attacked. Basically, they're taking him to a safe house. But we figure out that that's what the Watchdogs wanted him to do. They knew his plan, so they shoot down the Quinjet in the woods. But Mace is freaking out. Mace wants to search around the woods. And the reason being is there's this briefcase that he wants to get. But Coulson and obviously Mac don't understand why he wants the briefcase. But eventually we figure out that after these men destroy the serum that's inside, that this serum, there's serum in the suitcase that basically made it look like Mace was the Inhuman, even though he wasn't. And so that's why the guy with the briefcase is always near him. So we get this revelation, which is kind of crazy, because everybody was like, oh, the Patriot, this Inhuman hero who's now leading S.H.I.E.L.D. That's awesome. But really, we figure out he's a fake. But before they can make it back to the base, of course, they have to fight through all these Hydra agents, and they go into this cabin, and Mace Coulson tells Mace to act like he's still got super strength, and he does, and he kind of calms down the assailants. But these ex-Hydra agents all converge and try to kill Coulson and Mace and Mac, but they're able to hold them off long enough to where S.H.I.E.L.D. can come back and Daisy can help out, and Daisy and I believe May, of course LMD May, find them and they stop him. And how they figured out where they were is back on the base. There's scenes where they're interrogating this ex-Hydra agent who, of course, has been hired by the Watchdogs. And they get him to talk using Ada's head. They basically bring it in a cooler and say, hey, this is the last guy last person who didn't talk. And it's this very funny scene, and it's funny to see Fitz and Simmons be that clever to think of that. But he reveals the location. Obviously, they're able to get there in time to save them. So, this episode is great. Talbot, he's a cool character, but he hasn't been on the show long enough for us to really care about him. He just seems like the jerk who comes in on occasion. So him being back was cool, but at the same time, it seemed just like a plot device to me. But this episode is great because it developed Mace way more. We realize he's not an Inhuman, obviously, and that he's been taking the serum. But we also realize that he's a good guy. And Coulson says it best in the end when he basically tells Mace, hey, I want you to still be the figurehead of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just let me handle the operations. And that was a cool moment because we finally get to see Mace and Coulson level, and now they're going to be working together side by side to head S.H.I.E.L.D., which is going to be great to see coming forward. Also, it's important to note that the LMD May realizes that she's LMD whenever she got cut in that fight at the cabin. She goes back and she's checking out the cut, and she realizes that she's got robotic parts underneath, and realizes that she may not be actually May. And it'll be interesting to see how she comes to see that the next few weeks. Also, we got to see, there was a brief scene I forgot to mention where May tries to escape and Ada almost kills her. And it's going to be interesting to see if May can actually escape and how she would interact with her LMD self once they get back to the base and what will happen with that. But it was great to see. Of course, Coulson, Mack, and Mace sort of have the buddy up in the woods. It was great to see Mace get some plot or character development. It was great to see the tie-in with Luke Cage and with the Judas bullet, of course. And it was awesome to see how they even tied in the show with itself, saying that they, made the serum um, using Cal's old serum recipe. They just took out all the bad stuff. So everything that all the connections in this episode were great, and obviously, um, all the action was great, and all the team ups were great, and I just thought it was a very clever episode of Agents of Shield. So I had to give Agents of Shield episode 4 or episode excuse me, season 4 episode 10, The Patriot, an 8.7 out of 10.